name for you.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Underestimated Podcast. It's your host, Jeremy. We're back with another episode. Welcome to episode 20. I just want to say a happy Halloween to everybody. Obviously, I'm 17, so I don't really get into Halloween anymore. But candy's always great, right? Candy's always great. So I've been seeing a bunch of costumes all over social media. Everybody looks great. For anybody who would care to know, I was Eddie from Ed, Ed, and Eddie this year for Halloween, and it was cool. But we're on episode 20, man. I so today I'm gonna give y'all my top 10. You can say scariest, spookiest, most horrifying, just to give it like a Halloween type theme to it. NBA teams to win the 2023-2024 NBA Finals or NBA Championship. Now, for starters, NBA basketball is back. We're about a week into the NBA season now. I believe each team has played about 3 games. So we're finally get to see some of the teams that we've been anticipating all summer. Finally get it underway and get into action. Give or take a few players that haven't played. Like we haven't seen a full strength Phoenix Suns team because Bradley Beal hasn't played since the season started. A couple of guys have already missed some games, like Kyrie Irving. Devin Booker missed a game. Klay Thompson missed a game last night. So a couple of notable players have already missed games this season. But with the new CBA rules, with sitting players, you can only sit one. I think it's one All NBA or like superstar player, and a lot of teams have already been using that to their advantage. So, but without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into this list. So at number 10, I have the Dallas Mavericks. Now, of course, last year midseason, the Dallas Mavericks did a trade to acquire Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets. And actually, what I'll do is find that trade. So on February 6th, the Brooklyn Nets traded Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. The Nets received Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and future draft picks in the deal. To further break down the deal, that was Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a 2027 second round pick, 2029 first round pick unprotected, and a 2029 second round pick. And Dallas received Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris. When I saw this, I didn't know how to feel about it because I didn't know how Luka and Kyrie were going to work alongside one another. But, and I mean, of course, with them last season finishing with the record of 38-44, and which left them at the 11th seed in the West, of course, you could say it wasn't that well. Okay, so I found it right here. Luka and Kyrie Irving only played 13 games together last season after Kyrie was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. Their record in those 13 games was a record of 4 wins, 9 losses. Which means they didn't get nearly enough time together for us to really see the full potential of what they can be together as a cohesive unit. Now that they have a full training camp, a full off-season, full preseason, now we can really see what this team can do. After now a week into the NBA season, they currently sit at 3-0. They haven't lost a game yet. 3-0 in the Western Conference, or in the NBA, second in the Western Conference. And well, I know they played two of those games together because Kyrie just missed the game, or it may have been two. So yeah, they beat the Grizzlies last night, 125-110. I don't believe Kyrie ever played this game. Yeah, Kyrie Irving didn't didn't play this game. No, Luka played 40 minutes, had six threes, and finished the game with 35, 12, and 12. So yeah, he definitely didn't play this game. Now looking at it, seems as if he didn't even. So they beat the Nets 125, 120 about 4 days ago. And looking at it, see what happened there. Kyrie Irving did play this game. So yeah, I think he only missed one game. He played 34 minutes, had 17 points, 6 assists, and 7 rebounds. And Luka played 36 minutes, where he had 47, 7, and 10. So you look at this Mavericks squad, and I'm gonna say this now. Y'all know I love Duke, the college in general. I just love every sport that they have, every sports program that they have. I love them all. So y'all can say this is a biased opinion, but y'all see it for yourselves here. Derek Lively. Now, anyone who's been a part of the podcast since day one would know that my very first episode involved the 2023 NBA mock draft that I did. The Dallas Mavericks had the 11th pick in this draft. Now, I felt as if Grady Dick out of Kansas was going to be the best pick for them. Because I feel like when you have somebody like Luka Doncic who can facilitate and play make and pass the ball the way that he does, you need to put shooters around him to make those passes worth something at the highest percentage. Shooters will do that. That's what Grady Dick did. Grady Dick shot about 41% from three, I want to say, at Kansas. But he ended up falling, I think, to number 13, 14 to the Toronto Raptors. But wasn't totally on him because Derek Lively out of Duke was selected number 11 by the, of course, the oh my goodness. I know this is live and everything, and I'm doing this, and I have my phone right next to me, and Adam Schefter just tweeted that Chase Young just got dealt to the San Francisco 49ers for only a third round pick. Wow. I know this is an NBA video, but that just kind of threw me off quite a bit. Anywho, that's what I was saying. Derek Lively looks really good for the Dallas Mavericks. I think in his first game he had a close to a 20 ball. I didn't know he had a real good game. And he looks really good, y'all, to be a rim protector for this Maverick squad. Obviously, we have somebody who's his height at like 7'1", 7'2". The intent for that is to have someone who can give you more, to grab you offensive rebounds and to give you more offensive opportunities to get buckets. We have a great offensive rebounder like Derek Lively that gives more shots to guys like Josh Green, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway Jr., Grant Williams, Seth Curry, etc. And, as presently constructed, they needed more play on that front line because you lose Christian Wood in the offseason to the Lakers. You lose. Well, technically it's been a while since he's been there, but you don't have Porzingis there anymore because I think he's been to Washington since then. But now he's with the Celtics, so you haven't really had someone on that front line to really give you the play and fill that spot effectively that you really have wanted to. Now you pick up Derek Lively from Duke. I mean, I thought a lot of people would have downplayed him, because I'm not exactly sure where I had him in that mock draft. I want to say I might have had him going to the Thunder. But I mean, if anybody wants to do their homework, they can go back to that first episode and let me know. Because I surely forgot. But I will definitely say for sure he was in the lottery for me. I feel like a lot of people were downplaying him because of the fact that, he was the number one player out of his respective graduating class. It was expected to be a dog at Duke, but due to some injuries, he didn't play as many games, which kind of put a spike into his productivity. So a lot of teams kind of were questionable about him going into the season, but the Mavericks took a chance on him, and up until this point, they don't regret it, and it makes sense because of the production that he's been able to give them. How about we take a look into his stats this season? I'm sure they're not like mind blowing, but it's worth the look. Okay, so he's currently averaging about 9 points and 6 rebounds. Shooting 85, well, round off for him, 86% from the field this season. Yeah, that looks good, Joe. I'm not going to say he's, of course, a rookie of the year caliber, but he's definitely holding his own in this rookie class. And he just had, well, he had 2 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 block in 14 minutes last night against the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, this is the game I was talking about right here. Okay, against the Spurs. Now I'm not sure how many or how much he was put up against Wemby in that game. Even though that was also Wemby's NBA debut as well. Which, I mean, naturally that was a more anticipated debut than Derek Lively's. But in that game, with Wemby playing, he scored 16 points. Okay, he was close to a 20 ball, yeah. 16 points, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 assist, and 10 rebounds. The guy had every stat. He had every single stat. Literally, because he also had 1 turnover. But he had every stat. Shot 87% 88% from the field, 67% from the free throw line. That's what's gonna be his downfall, because of course he's not the best free throw shooter. But hey, they don't really too much expect that from a big, so he gets in where he fits in. Yeah, I think that match is gonna be really good this year, y'all. I think they're gonna probably finish. I would say, because really with the way the NBA playoffs is set up now, you really need to make it within that top 6 to solidify your playoff spot. Because if you're anywhere from, I believe, isn't it like what, 7th to 10th? Yeah, you can have a chance at grabbing that 7th or that 8th playoff spot. So they need to be top 6 to solidify themselves in the West, which is possible. That Western Conference is just so stacked and very deep that you just really have to play hard to be at the top of the top in that conference. The East is free game. I mean, you win about 38, 40 games in the East, and you're guaranteed pretty much a playoff spot. But those games aren't hard to come by when you're on the the Western Conference side of things. So now let's jump into this next team that I have. I'm gonna move away from the Mavericks there. All right, so at number 9, I have coming in the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, let's talk about these Lakers. let's talk about them. Last season, they finished with a record of 43-39, which made them the seventh seed in the Western Conference. I'm gonna be real, y'all. They got a good looking team. They potentially are about 9, 10 deep with the talent that they have on their roster this year. But it's gonna be a long, just like it was a couple of years ago in that bubble, which you can say what you want about the way that championship was won for the Lakers. It's gonna be a long time before they raise that Larry OB again, y'all. I told people, you know, around me for months now, and I'm gonna keep saying it because it's the truth. LeBron James's last chance at winning a ring was last season. That was his last chance that he had to make a legitimate run for the NBA championship. After that, he's done. All he's playing for is just extra accolades and for fun at this point because there's nothing else that he's going to be able to do. Which is pretty much why he's already given or passed the torch as far as the Lakers' franchise goes towards Anthony Davis because I mean Braun actually been hooping this year though. I mean it's only been 3 games of course, but I mean Braun gonna do Braun regardless. They really I seen something where they are now actually restricting him to about 28 to 30 minutes a game. Which I mean of course that's expected. Braun is what 30, 37, 38 now. So of course they're gonna start chopping those minutes on down. So you look at the roster that's consists of, you know, Braun, AD, Austin Reeves, D'Lo, Christian Wood, William Gabriel. Let's see, I'm missing here. Cam Reddish, Gabe Vincent, Max Christie, Rui Hachimura, etc. Right? Okay. Good team. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed Torian Prince. Cool. All right. Good team. But this West is packed, man, and they don't have. I don't think they have enough. Like, although they might be. I'll give them that. They might be respectively the deepest team in the NBA. From looking at it from a top to bottom standpoint on paper. In the retrospective thing, the retrospective, the retrospective side of things. But they won't win a ring, y'all. They won't probably get past. Okay, so right now they are currently, I think, 2-2. If I'm not mistaken, because I got both the last year's standings and this year's standings in front of me. Yeah, they're currently 2-2, placing them ninth in the Western Conference. So let's just I'll bump them up one, put them at 8, swap them with the Pels. All right, so that means if they're gonna end up in that 8th or 7th spot, with the playoffs, it's 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5. So that would be the Nuggets. They're not beating the Nuggets first round. No way in the world they beat the Nuggets in the first round. And if they were 7th, that would mean the Mavericks, as of right now, they would beat the Mavs. I don't see that happening either. Well, they may be able to get Dallas in 6. That would be a pretty good series actually. But anyway, I just don't see them winning the championship. Um, it's right there at 9 for me because it's just obviously when you got Braun on your team, even when Braun is 45, I don't count out Braun. Um, and so it's possible. I just don't see it happening with the way that the West stacks up. You got to get through all those teams to get, to represent the West in the NBA Finals. And I just don't see this Lakers team with Braun, pushing 40, to do that, and with Anthony Davis's inconsistency, we don't know what's gonna happen. But I mean, and they're already talking big. They was talking about. AD was talking about, oh yeah, me and Braun heard all the talk about the Nuggets, and then they go in and get their butt kicked by the Nuggets. That like that opening night. So we're gonna see what this team. Like I said, it's very early in the season. It's only been 3 or 4 games played for most teams, or for all teams rather, and it's an 82 game season. So we're gonna see what happens. I mean, as long as they can stay healthy, they got a shot. But obviously, with like I said, Braun pushing 40, and we all know AD's injury proneness is quite another level. But when he's healthy, he produces, and I mean, we kind of all know that. All right, so let's jump into this next team on the list. So we're at 8 now. Okay, at number 8, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. Got Philly. So, in most people's eyes, they could have really missed this list for me because I mean, it's so many good teams in the NBA, y'all. Like, I mean, it's really. I don't think there's honestly a bad team in the NBA. It's just when you stack them up against other teams that what makes them look so bad. Because really, this list was actually kind of tough to make. Well, towards the bottom, especially for that number 10 slot, because I was like 5 different teams in my head that I was just like, oh, they can be a legit contender, and I was like, oh, I could add honorable mentions, but I was like, no, if I add honorable mentions into this, I would have legit had about 5 honorable mentions, and I mean that's kind of a little too much. So I was like, yeah, we just gonna go ahead and roll with the punches with it. So as we know, James Harden has officially now forced his way out of Philly after calling Daryl Morey a liar, back to back, actually twice, and just got traded, I believe, last night, because I heard about it this morning or either last night, one of the two. He is now officially a Los Angeles Clipper, and to be real, I don't know how to feel about it. I may make a separate video coming this Thursday or sometime soon about the trade. And this is my thing. I'm gonna just give a short thing about it because I don't want to make a video about it sooner. Then I just will waste everything I'm gonna say about it on this little part of the episode here. The Clippers, I just don't know, because you look at it on paper, right? And for the one that's been watching hoops for a long time, like I mean, I grew up watching these guys play. I grew up watching the LeBron James Miami Heat era, the Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rondo Celtics era, the late Kobe era. That's the era I grew up watching. So of course I knew about the Thunder team that had KD, Harden, and Westbrook, the PG era in Indy, the Kawhi era in San Antonio. So you look at a team that has Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George, and you say, okay, for what we've known these 4 players to be, this can be scary. This looks scary. Not to also, backdoor or to throw a shadow on Zubac, because he's great too. That makes them even scarier. But it's all about what version are we going to get out of these 4 players. Because let me actually look at this for a second. So let's really take a deep dive into these 4 players that we all know and love. Let's look at their ages. Russ is now 34. Okay. You got Russ, who's 34. James Harden was also 34. Kawhi, who's 32. And Paul George, who's 33. So you mean to tell me? So according to this, I think Kawhi is the youngest at 32. So you got Kawhi who's 32, PG who's 33, and both Harden and Westbrook being 34. So basically, all these guys are just slowly surpassing the age of 35. So it's all about what version are we going to get. Now, if you telling me that I'm going to get, as I was just saying earlier, with the era of the NBA that I grew up watching, if we get, and this is just, of course, hypothetically speaking, the OKC version of Russ, the Houston version of James Harden, the Indiana version of Paul George, and the San Antonio version of Kawhi Leonard, they probably win the NBA championship. Um, but what I always tell people is, you know, a team can always look good on paper. Like I believe it wasn't last year. A couple of years ago, when the Warriors acquired DeMarcus Cousins after winning a championship with Kevin Durant, it was no secret that we had a top, well, I'm gonna say 10 to be 100% sure of what I'm talking about here. A top 10 player in each position at the time. We had Steph Curry, who at the time was obviously a top 10. Even I said top 10 to widen it to be 100% true here, but obviously was a top 10 point guard at the time. We had Klay Thompson, who was obviously a top 10 shooting guard at the time. Kevin Durant, top 10 small forward at the time. Draymond Green, believe it or not, top 10 power forward at the time. And then added DeMarcus Cousins, who was a top 10 center at the time. That team looked great, but didn't play enough games. So a team can look good and scary on paper, but if the team doesn't gel the proper way, they're not going to be what we expect them to be. The same thing applies to this Los Angeles Clippers team. Yeah, they acquired James Harden, and that's great. It looks scary on paper. But if the team does not gel to what we expect it to be, then they would just be another team in the NBA. So it's all about how they gel and how they work it out. With Ty Lue being at the helm of this organization, I think they're going to work it out because Ty Lue is a great coach and, believe it or not, the best in-game adjusting coach or in-game adjustment coach in all the NBA. The way he can just change the game around with his adjustments, as from a coaching perspective, in a matter of one timeout or in a 2-minute span is ridiculous. I saw it firsthand when he had that Cavs team who beat my Warriors a couple years ago, coming back from 3-1. Of course, that had to be a whole lot of adjusting to make that possible in a reality. So I mean, yeah, this team can stay healthy. Like I said, old age also comes with injury. As expected. If the team can stay healthy, not just in regular season play, but also during the postseason, they could make it into that last four teams in the West. I don't think it's crazy to say that the last four teams in the West would be Clippers, Suns, Warriors, Nuggets. I don't think that's crazy to say, but it has to kind of fall that way. So, but not just that, they made this trade happen without giving away Terrence Mann, which is the one piece that there was like, no, we're not trading Terrence Mann. That is the one player you will not get in this James Harden trade. I've seen it multiple times already, and I should vividly remember the trade, but I'm gonna just kind of go through the details of it. Actually, no, I think I may have it. Well, no, let me just go look at it for sure. Um, so I can get all the details instead of trying to go off the top of my head. Okay, here it go. Took me a while trying to actually find it. Okay, so the Philadelphia 76ers are trading James Harden to the Los Angeles Clippers, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. The Clippers will receive James Harden, PJ Tucker, and I hope I don't butcher your name, Philip Petrusev, while the 76ers will receive an unprotected 2028 first round pick, two second round picks, a first round pick swap, Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Robert Covington, and PJ Martin. Another first round pick will be rerouted to the 76ers from the Thunder. Wojnarowski added Tuesday morning. The 76ers are waiving Danny Green to clear a roster space necessary to make the trade. So, this is actually a good trade on both sides because you get an all-star caliber player in James Harden if you're the Los Angeles Clippers, but now you get to kind of broaden out that bench of yours if you're the 76ers. You get Marcus Morris, you get Nick Batum, you get Robert Covington, and you get KJ Martin. All are guys with great size. I think Marcus Morris is 6'8". I think Nick Batum is 6'8", 6'9". I think Robert Covington is 6'7". I think KJ Martin is 6'6". So you all get four players that's above 6'5", that can play the wing position if you would like them to. Which is great because, you got Joel there. And of course I don't think with that combination of four players you would say equivalent to what James Harden can do. But you bring a solid bench around Joel Embiid. That's pretty substantial because I believe Tyrese Maxey is a dog and can really be great alongside I'm sorry, not James Harden, Joel Embiid. Not to mention Tobias Harris, who I still think has something left in him. Um, so I mean, this is a good trade, but I'm not going to get into it anymore. Like I said, I don't want to make a future episode about this, and then I'm just feeling everything about it all on this one episode here. So let's move on to number 6, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now you could say, it's no secret that the Cleveland Cavaliers have one of the best young cores in all of the NBA. Could they win a title? Very true. They had a great series last season against the Knicks, which I think went to 7, and did they win or did they? I'm not sure. But I mean, these guys are only subjected to get better. You got an all-star, uh, the all-star backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. You got an amazing front line of Twin Towers when you look at Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. I just think that their small forward spot concerns me. Not saying that Isaac Okoro is a bad player. I just think it could be better. But I think when you surround those four guys around him, if he just does what he does and what he specializes in from a defensive standpoint, they will be fine. Because really, it ain't many much people. Isn't much people that are going to score in that paint when you got both Jared Allen and Mobley down there. And I mean, you look at Evan Mobley on the opposite side. I think he can stretch the floor out with his ability to shoot the ball from the perimeter in the mid range. Obviously, Jared can't do that. Jared is a strictly paint player, so he's gonna stand there and bang with the big guys. So I don't think too much need to be said about Cleveland. Cleveland looks pretty nice. They acquired Max Strus this offseason, which is always great when you acquire teams that kind of hurt other top dogs in your respective conference, because obviously they hurt the Miami Heat. But the Miami Heat were hurt in so many ways this offseason when they didn't make the necessary adjustments to get Dame. So that alone hurts. But you lose one of the better 3-point shooters in all of the NBA and Max Strus, and that kind of hurts you as well. So looking at last season, the Cleveland Cavaliers finished with a record of 51-31, which placed them fourth in the Eastern Conference. Now, looking at it this season, they are currently sitting at number 9 with a record of 1-2. What concerns me with Cleveland is their bench. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Karis LeVert, I don't know if this was just like he was just on in this game or what. But Karis LeVert just had a game. I'm glad I just popped it to my head. Karis LeVert just had a game where he went dummy. I mean, he went off. Let me just see. I'm trying to see which game that was. Well, let's look at the roster. Let's see what they got going. So you see, I hope they actually give Imani Bates some legit playing time. I believe he deserves to play. Jordan Niang. Yeah, their bench can use some improvement. Definitely can. But there are guys out there. They can go make some moves. Who are we looking for? Karis LeVert. So Karis LeVert. Which game was it? He's averaging about 20 points this season already. 20 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Okay, Karis. But, I mean, hey, I wouldn't, as of right now, well, I mean, as you know, Karis isn't your typical defender, but he might, I don't know. If he could be like this, I would probably start him at the 3 over Isaac Okoro, but Isaac Okoro brings that defense, so, that's where that, goes out to the ball, that gives you a different element. So, looking at it, Karis LeVert had 31 points in a game on the 28th against the Indiana Pacers, which resulted in a loss. And played 44 minutes. He must have won in overtime. Because I don't think Karis LeVert's playing 44 minutes out of 48 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So looking at it, so I can also see where they, kind of have shit up in this league already. So they've lost to now the OKC Thunder and the Indiana Pacers, and they've only beaten the Brooklyn Nets. So if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, I know the season just started, and you just got to get your rocks off and kind of, still kind of get the team chemistry back in totality. If I am playing the Brooklyn Nets, OKC Thunder, Indiana Pacers as the Cleveland Cavaliers now, they should be 3-0 right now. They should be 3-0. I know, you can't just walk into OKC anymore and expect to get a dub. They're actually a respectable team this season. I also think Cleveland has the roster to beat them. They only lost by 3, but I mean, it's the NBA. You win by 1 to win. You lose by 12 to the Indiana Pacers, which is also a team that is on the come up, and you can't just walk into I was about to try to say their stadium name, but I forgot what it is. But you just can't walk into Indiana anymore and get a win either. So, but I put them in there because they got the roster to do it, and these guys have been able to show up in postseason play. So they could end up in that top four with the Eastern Conference. I think on my list, looking at it, I only have one, two, three. I only have four teams, which sounds about right, honestly. Three or four, I have three teams that are no, four teams that are in the Eastern Conference. But let's just move along. All right, so now we reach the top five, and I am excited now because now I get to talk about my favorite team. Coming in at number five, I have my beloved Golden State Warriors. Listen, I saw something. I don't know if I was watching someone else's. No. I remember what it was. Because I watch a lot of podcasts on YouTube and Spotify and stuff, and I thought it was something from there, but it wasn't. I usually try to watch First Take every morning, whether it's on the rerun or that first showing of it, because it's a lot more interesting to me now with Shannon Sharp being on the show. Now I don't know if this was. It was close to the start of the season, but obviously we lost our first game of the season to a Bradley Beal's Phoenix Suns team. Okay, which we should have won. We should have won that game. Of course, the concern for everybody with us this year was this Chris Paul situation, and I saw it in the preseason, and I've continued to see it. It looks great. Now he's been coming off the bench since Draymond has returned from injury, so I think that's where he's gonna stay for the time being until otherwise. And so I'm watching First Take, and Stephen A. made a remark that usually Stephen A. is my guy, my favorite analyst in all, ever, my favorite analyst ever. He made a remark that was saying that with Stephen Curry at the age of what I think Steph is 33 now. Let me fact check that. Make sure I'm right about that. Thirty, 35. Oh my goodness, 35 years old. So Stephen A. made a remark saying that if the Warriors, if it's going to take Stephen Curry averaging 30, a night to get them wins this season, that is going to burn him, and it's going to affect us as a whole. I don't believe that's true. We are currently sitting at 3-1, which we just won last night. Shout out to us. You know what I'm saying? We just beat the Pelicans last night, which Steph had 41. Or was it 42? I think it was 42. So now I'm looking at his actual stats for the season in the first 4 games. 33.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists on 56% shooting from the field. Look, y'all, like, I love watching Steph Curry play, so this is like more than exciting for me. But I'm really loving this. I don't believe that is true at all. Because you look at our team, if we're gonna have a 30-point per game score on our team, why should it not be Steph Curry? He I think he averaged, was that 32 points a few seasons ago where he won the scoring title. So I mean, why not? And I'm loving it. And I hope he continues to go. I think he can handle it. Um, we should start making a conversation that Steph can go as long as LeBron. I believe Steph is going to be playing in this 42 just like LeBron. Um, I don't think Steph is slowing up either. He's still doing Steph Curry things. And I mean, it's only gotten better if we're being real. Since he added on that muscle mass and, that muscle, you can't just throw around Steph Curry anymore. He's bumping you and taking you to the rack now. So this ain't just the 40-foot 3-point shooter that we've thought he was and only was. No, this is a legit NBA player that is all around score. And one of the best to ever do it. But I mean, the Chris Paul thing concerned me. I obviously we know that Jordan Poole wasn't the same guy after he got his bag from his great performance that he made uh, 2 seasons ago where we won the championship. And more specifically the play that his play during that playoff run where we shipped him off to Washington and then we got Chris Paul. But it looks good, y'all. Um, I'm starting to like the fit a lot. I am just trying to see. I don't want to say I'm concerned. I'm just skeptical. We'll say skeptical. Um, about what I'm going to get out of Klay Thompson this season because now you're bringing Chris Paul, and like he said in a press conference, I'm really excited that Chris is on the team now, but that gives more open looks and shot opportunities for guys like me and Steph. But you got to make him, Klay. I mean, now let's take a look into Klay Thompson's stat this season. I know he just missed his first game last night. So Klay Thompson is currently averaging 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting 48% from the field. Let's look at his 3-point percentage for a second. Hold on. Oh, okay. I was like, okay, well, he's actually shooting 40% from 3, which is what Klay Thompson should be doing. Yeah, 40% from 3. But there's some shots that Klay has been taking that, well, really, what I've been noticing is that he'll start off kind of slow, and then as the game progresses, he kind of heats up, and then he can kind of fluctuate his way through the rest of the game. But I really want Klay averaging about 20 this season, not just 17, 18 points. I want him averaging about 20. I need Wiggs to bring back that version of himself that we saw during the playoff run when we won the championship a couple years ago. And most people's eyes was the Finals MVP. Had Steph Curry not won it. Draymond. To me, this is I'm really excited about the season for y'all. I feel like we're being so slept on, and it's just. I hope it only fuels us more because it's fueling me even more as a fan. I'm not even playing. I'm just sitting on the couch watching every game I can. Because we're really being slept on. I really believe with this team we can compete with the likes of Phoenix. Yeah, I said it. With the likes of Phoenix and the Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers, Bucks. Who am I missing? Celtics. Yes, we have. I feel we have the roster and team and guys to make that a possibility. But I mean, hey, I believe my guys gonna go out there and prove it. I don't gotta say nothing. I'm just gonna be a proud fan and enjoy the production that they put out on the court. But I mean, Draymond to now have 2 of the smartest guys of all time, IQ wise in the NBA, on one team with Draymond and Chris Paul. Jonathan Kuminga, he puts me in such a bipolar state of mind because, man, I know he could just be great, and I just want him to be great. And of course, they were saying that the addition of Chris Paul is supposed to unlock Jonathan Kuminga. which I mean we haven't seen. We've seen him dropping 60 in these program runs, during the off season, but you got to bring that to the big leagues. It's cool and all, and it's very enticing to see on social media, but we want to see that in the NBA where you raise Larry O'Brien trophies and stuff like that. So I hope he figures that out. I'm really excited about Trace. I found out his name, y'all. It's not Tracy or anything like that. It's Trace Jackson. Um, Trace Jackson Davis out of Indiana. Love that pick for us. Uh, B Pod Brandon. I'm not even going to say his last name, so I just call him B Pod. He looks really nice. Um, I'm just anybody. GP looking great. Shot looking nice. Dario Sarge. I'm loving that addition right now, giving us a guy who can stretch the floor out with size, with them being like what 6'8", 6'9", which is a concern that we had last season when we played the Lakers when they kicked us out of the playoffs because they weren't better than us, they were just bigger than us, and that's where our downfall was. So we trying to fix that size disadvantage that we have against most teams, and I'm loving what we're gonna see from the Warriors this year. I was gonna have them number one, but that would be very biased. Yeah, I know how I usually run my list, so I should pretty much know who I have at number one. But obviously, last year we finished number 7. I want to say, I think we were 7th to finish off the year. Let's see. No, 6th. It was the Lakers. Yeah. So we finished 6th last season with a record of 44-38. And we're winning road games, y'all. We haven't lost a road game yet. Which was a big concern for us last year. So we couldn't win a road game to save our lives. We would win every game, basically, in the Chase Center. But when we would leave the Chase Center, we were the same team. But now we're winning road games, so that's also a huge improvement for us. Now this year we sit at 3-1, which would leave us like 4th in the conference. I mean, a lot of teams are tied now for most spots. So, they have us 3rd in the Western Conference now, behind Dallas and Denver. But let's move along. So, next at number 4, the Phoenix Suns. I mean, it ain't much I got to get into about them. Oh, hold on, y'all. I messed up something here. Give me a second. All right, I got it back. But, it ain't much I got to say about the Phoenix Suns. Bradley Beal, KD, Book, Yusuf Nurkic. And they actually, the biggest concern was with Phoenix was that they were, obviously great, and top end, very top end heavy, but they weren't, wide enough. They didn't have the bench to support the top tier talent that they had on, the front or the top of the roster. But now they fixed that, Eric Gordon, Josh Okogie. Trying to think of guys. I think Damian Lee's on the team. Still. Let's look at the roster. Yeah, so Damian Lee, Drew Eubanks, Josh Okogie, Book, KD, Bobo, Metu, Timothy Metu, Nasir Little, Yusuf Nurkic, Kata Base Diop, Yuta Watanabe, Eric Gordon, Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen. That makes them about, respectively, 8-9 deep. Which at a point in time they weren't, like 6 or 7 deep, maybe. So yeah, they're gonna end up at least in the Western semis. probably if this team gels the way we expect, because we haven't even seen Bradley Beal on the court in a regular season game yet. Um, if they can stay healthy and gel the way we expect them to, they would probably end up in the Western Conference Finals, at least the semis. But I mean, KD has had the team on their back so far. Because D Book just missed a game last night, I think, as well. I mean, I don't know if y'all seen it or not. I know they didn't have Bradley Beal, but we didn't have Draymond either, and we was able to bang with the Suns. So we're gonna see what happens. Um, yeah, I have Phoenix in there at number 4. I don't think there's much I have to say about them, or really anybody numbers to this list. 3, the Milwaukee Bucks. Um, of course they could have been higher. I really think depending on the way you would list it, teams 1 through 5 are pretty much, or if you want to count out my Warriors, whatever. Teams 1 through 4 are basically interchangeable for various reasons. But yeah, obviously Dame, Giannis, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, um, Marjan Beauchamp. What am I missing? I mean, we know the Bucks. I know they finished with a record of, let's see here. Yeah, they finished with a record of 58-24 last season, which made them, yep, the highest record in all the NBA, and of course the best in the Eastern Conference. So obviously we've seen that despite Damian Lillard's hiccup a game or two ago when he only had 6 points against, I think that was the Trailblazers? I don't exactly remember. I feel like it was a red team. But no, it couldn't have been Trailblazers. No, it wasn't Trailblazers. No. It wasn't Trailblazers. My fault. But him and Giannis look real good. Y'all. And Freak Time is their nickname, I guess, now. Freak Time was like they're gonna be a very scary time. That's what Freak Time stands for. Or however you want to describe it, but anyway, yeah. They look good. They're gonna, when it comes to the Eastern side of things, I think it's either Boston or Milwaukee, whichever one you wanna, because they're gonna end up in that Eastern Conference Finals to determine who's gonna come out of the East and represent the East in the NBA Finals. I hope that's a 7-game series out of that, because that's going to be a great dogfight series. And I mean, spoiler alert, I have the Celtics at number 2 on this list. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Porzingis, Al Horford, Derek White. They look good as well. And at number 1, I have the Denver Nuggets. I usually do my list. The team that won it, depending on what the list is about, the team that, won it the previous year is always going to be number 1 to me until taken off the list. I mean, or taken, until taken away from, until the team knocks them off, they're going to be top team for me. Jokic is still doing Jokic-like things. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Christian Brown. They don't seem to miss Bruce Brown very much. They seem to be playing still Denver Nuggets basketball without him. Aaron Gordon, Christian Watson. Is that his name? Is that his name? I think Christian Watson is the the wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. What's his name? Let me get his name correct so I don't get bashed crazy on here. Hold on. What's your actual name? It's close, but I don't think it's that. Let me see. Peyton Watson. I'm sorry. Peyton Watson. Okay, my fault. But yeah, looking at it now, I mean, Zeke Najee has come out to play this season. KCP, Bobby Shmurda, Reggie Jackson, and you got DeAndre Jordan. Gives them more depth on that front line. So yeah, to kind of recap the list, I have Nuggets at 1, Celtics at 2, Bucks at 3, Suns 4, Warriors 5, Cavaliers 6, Clippers 7, 8 76ers, 9 Lakers, and 10 Dallas Mavericks. So that caps off the top 10 spookiest, scariest, horrifying, whatever NBA teams to win the 2023-2024 NBA championship. You guys have a great rest of your Tuesday, and you kids enjoy Halloween. It's your boy Jeremy Ross signing out. I'm gone.
It's that time. Things just ain't the same for you.